What's up? What's up, family? Get this video a big thumbs up. Let's check this out.
Going around right now, a lot of this conversation about President Biden getting criticized from both sides of the aisle for pardoning his son Hunter after repeatedly saying he would never do it. And a lot of people are saying that it's hypocritical, et cetera, as if the other side doesn't do it. But what's your reaction to it?
I mean, I think all of the criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time. And, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now. But since they were calling Trump a threat to democracy and they were saying that, nobody's above the law, but they were speaking about him, that's what they were running on. So when he kept saying things like, nobody's above the law, I respect, the jury's decision in regards to my son, he didn't believe that. But he didn't have to volunteer that lie.
I think that is about to go left. I think that this is going to go left because this just flies in the face of everything that they talk about on The View, right? It 100% flies in the face. And I don't think they realized what they was doing when they invited Charlamagne the God on this platform. Charlamagne is not a Biden supporter. Charlamagne is a Kamala Harris stand. That's the difference. So if you bring him on here in order to make a plea for Kamala Harris, you're going to get a totally different chameleon Charlamagne. And I think that he is also probably more Republican after getting beat up all of this election. And you're going to get a completely different Charlamagne. So if you're talking about Kamala Harris versus you then talking about Joe Biden, Charlamagne don't like Joe. And I got to give him a little bit of credit and be objective. He's always been a Joe hater. He's always been in denial about how great Trump is, but he always been against Joe Biden. So when they asked him this question, he's able to remove his bias in order to hold Democrats accountable because he's a Kamala Harris stand. And specifically Joe Biden about holding on to that lie. I don't think that this is going to go the way that they anticipated. But anyway, family, let's continue.
Begin with.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden?
No, I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over. And this is just my feeling, because at some point you get to the place where you just go, so I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
Now, before we address Whoopi's delusion, how many of y'all that's watching this right now actually believe that Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, is on the straight and narrow? How many people believe that in Joe's 50-year career, not even 50, let's go back to 2014 because maybe he's pardoning Hunter, or he's pardoning Hunter in this case because we know that he's going to pardon his son. So that doesn't come back to him in some way, shape, or form over the last 10, 11 years. How many of us, honest to God in our hearts, believe Joe Biden to be on the straight and narrow, the one that continues to push the narrative and hit the button when it comes to provoking Russia to become or use their nuclear powers? Just stop it. But anyway, let's continue.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that go out. They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground. Listen, they don't have to do that.
I'm a Democrat. Tell me what the moral high ground is.
The moral high ground is nobody's above the law. I respect what the jurors are saying.
He's right.
He don't have to do that.
So we're mad at him because he changed his.
Oh no. By the way, I'm not mad at him pardoning Hunter Biden.
But you sound like you're
mad.
No. If I can get in on this, I actually think it went further, and this is one thing we really disagree on. Joe Biden made a point of saying we stand by our institutions and the impartiality of the Department of Justice.
Yes.
Democrats ran on that.
I gotta add this. Whoopi always cut her off, and she's an independent, but she's a great attribute and actually brings a balance to the show, because it takes away. It definitely helps get away from the propaganda and the messiness and the delusion that Whoopi Goldberg is infatuated in having. But I don't know her name, but she's very, very valuable when it comes to this panel, and she brings a sound mind that actually has common sense and logic. Well, let's continue.
DOJ indicted Hunter Biden. We shouldn't be saying it's corrupt like Donald Trump does, but then in his statement pardoning Hunter Biden, he says that it was a political pursuit by his own Department of Justice.
Can you explain to me why it is that when Joe Biden does something, everybody clutches their pearls. He's wrong.
He
lied.
criticized
Donald Trump more than me or Charlamagne than God.
I'm sorry. Yeah, people have criticized him more. I've criticized him more. We've all criticized him more, but you're missing my question.
Okay.
My question is, what is it that makes people flip out with Joe, but we don't have the same kind of thing?
Well, I don't think people are flipping out with Joe. I think Democrats are flipping out with Joe because Democrats believe that they don't represent what he's currently representing. But that's just not true. That's why I say they stand on this moral high ground that simply does not exist. And I think this is also the problem when we pick sides, right? We've turned political parties into teams. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. Ain't nobody more delusional than me, right? Okay? I feel like we're going to the Super Bowl every year, but I'm not delusional. Well, no, that is delusional. But when it comes... But when it comes to political parties, if you pick a side, right, if you say you're a Democrat, if you say you're a Republican, you refuse to be objective about anything.
That's why I'm an independent.
Yes, but
I think that's the best way to go.
But that's not a monolith. We're not, Democrats are not a monolith.
But why can't you say when Democrats are wrong? And why can't Republicans say when Republicans are wrong?
I'll tell you when Democrats are wrong.
So you don't think Joe Biden is wrong?
No,
So she doesn't think that Joe Biden is wrong for presenting himself as this holier than thou. We will abide by the law. The justice system has to work. It doesn't matter who it is they have to be. You know, they have to be held accountable for what it is that they do, but then at the same time, say that he wasn't going to do something multiple different times. Throw Kareem Jean Perry under the bus and everybody else that said they believed in him, but then all of a sudden he just changed his mind overnight at Camp David. Just stop it, man. Just stop it. That is, if this is not some of the most delusional people that I've ever seen in my entire life, because liberals are delusional, and what is that they represent and what they run on is delusion. It's 100% delusion. But anyway, let's continue.
I don't.
And can I just point this out to you? The president has a part in power,
you're ridiculous.
right?
I didn't say you were ridiculous, Ms. Goldberg.
Yeah,
I would never. I said that. I just think that's
Think
ridiculous.
about
Come over
it.
and give
Just
me a
think about it this way.
Nah. We ain't giving no hugs. We ain't giving no hugs. You know what I'm saying? Auntie mad right now. You know what I'm saying? She hurt. She got a reality kick. She got the truth. She got told what she needed to hear and not what she wanted to hear. And this is what happens when you go to hang out with your grandma or your mom, right? And they try to get on you about something. Or in this case, why you voted a certain way, and then you give them the truth, the reality of the truth for what's the best interest of the people in America, and actually saying things that's logic and common sense, what's the Republican Party value, then they get hurt as a result of it because they can't bully you no more. You have common sense, you have logic, and you're able to substantiate your argument, and they're going off for identity politics and the mushy Philly, right? And fear-mongering. And they can't bully you no more in that case, and they're staying on a Democratic plantation. The point is that this was a masterful display of somebody being held accountable and taking a task about a bad take they've been espousing over weeks, months, and not even maybe years, so to say. And I've never seen them held accountable or hold each other accountable or hold Joe Biden accountable and say that he was wrong. And say that, oh, I don't know about that one. I never seen that happen. And the one thing you could say about Trump, and this is one of the reasons why the people have voted for him, and it was a red landslide, is not only does he represent what he want done in mass in America, he also means what he says and says what he means. So everything that he said he was going to implement before he got into office on January 20th, or before he get into office, I should say, in January 20th, 2025, that's exactly what that's exactly what he's executing on now. And he's not even in office because, if you guys don't know, he did speak with the Mrs. Mexico president to stop the caravans and so forth. And he's not even in office, and he's doing these things in phenomenal ways and executing phenomenally. And you can't sit here and go forth about that. You know what I'm saying? You can't debate it. It's true, and it's just absolutely true that he's executing. So for her to get this truth reality for somebody that they thought was on their side, but obviously they didn't do their research and realizing that Charlamagne is not a Joe Biden fan, he's a Kamala Harris stan. This is why she got to say, oh, come here and give me a hug. Nah, take this truth I understand you wanted to hear what you wanted to hear, but now you got told what you needed to hear. And I think Charlemagne is a chameleon in a lot of ways, but being objective, even chameleons can be right sometimes on certain things. And when I seen him go off and say that Joe Biden was wrong, and what is that he stood for and what he did, and again, nobody is mad at Joe Biden for pardoning his son. They just pointed out the hypocrisy that came along with it. And they also questioned why it goes back beyond the thing he was convicted for. But I'm going to leave it right there, family. Comment down below you guys' perspective, thoughts, and opinion. As always, give this video a big thumbs up. Spread that peace, love, and positivity. Until next time, family, peace.